So now the first panel is being stitched together, and just to make a test or a control that everything is as it have to be, I have to clean out the table and take the stitching machine to a side, and then roll out the panel, and then take the foil that I was making as a model and take it out all over it so that it's laying on top of it, and then I can mark it and cut it into shape. So that's what I gotta do now. The idea is that if it's fit, then I have to make 7 identical panels, and I made the first one and the second one because now I cannot use those as a model because now they've been stitched together. So I have the first one I cut that I can use as model. That means that I have 5 to go, and the idea is instead of cutting one at the time, I'm gonna cut all number 1 at one time and all number 2 and so on, because then I can turn them, and that angle it's cut in at the top and the bottom is the same on all number 1 and of course number 2 and so on. But because they're the same, then I can turn the cut so that I can use the one cut 2 times, so to say. So yeah, but I have to clean the table first so I can get on with it. So far everything is looking good, but the table is too small. I will have to see what I can do. Maybe I just have to put some needles to keep it in place, but I see what I'm doing. It is actually looking quite okay. I can see that I might. It might be a good idea to add maybe a couple of inch or a 3 to each part of the of what I'm laying out, but in the first, or actually the last, it's actually only the 2 first that I have to add a little extra, but I think for the benefit of making it fit also when I am stitching it, I'm gonna add like 2 inch extra, so that I'm sure I'm on the inside. Actually, it's only on the first 2 that I have marked them up in the corner here, 1, 2, and so on. And it's actually only on the first 2 I have to make a line where I should cut, and and the rest is just doing it to where they are. So I think when I'm just cutting them all, and then I just add 2 inches, and then everything is fine. So it's good. So I have to draw some lines. So now the table is cleared. I have been cutting all the pieces of fabric that I need for the lower 7 panel, those that are identical. I have been stitching the first one, and what I find out is that it's on the fabric piece number 2 was a little too narrow. So on all the fabric pieces, that means the 5 other, I have been adding 2 inches. The advantages by cutting it all at the same time is that the angle of the cut regarding to the side of the fabric I can reuse. So when I make a cut and that is a lower part, then the next time I just take the model and just turn it 180 degrees, but still with the same side up, so that the same side on the roll that is back, that is up or down, is also the same side when the sail is finished. I'm not sure there is any difference between the one and the other side, but it's always good to just make the one side, decide what is the master side and what is not as the master. So it's I have a believing that you might get a better result out of it, but I'm not sure. What you do is you take your model, you cut it, and you have an angle going like this, and on the top is maybe going the other way. But when you then turn it around so that what you have in front of you is on the wear, like you actually turn it like this, then you can reuse the one cut you already have. That means that you only have to cut one time for each piece of fabric. And the better thing is that you have almost no waste. You can see what I have been lying here, that is like the waste that I have, and I also have a little bit over here, and I believe that I also have a little bit lying on the floor here. And maybe on the 7 panels that I've been cutting, the wholesale is 75 square meters, and I've not been calculating what that is in square feet, but something in the area of 750. And the amount of waste is maybe 1 or 2 square feet. It's almost nothing. What I've been doing is every piece of fabric, they have a number regarding to where they are ending up in the sail. The number 1 is that in the front of the sail, and the small one lying down here. That is the one. I have one piece being glued together with the tape on the inside on the stitching tape. You can see that a little here. They are all being tracked up here, and then they're being numbered by this, so that I just let's see if you can see it. So that you just go in and pick the one I have. A little mishap was the model that I was using when I was cutting it. I've just been rolling into the roll, and because all the 5 panels pieces for the next 5 panels are 2 inches wider, I cannot stitch them together with the model, so to say, and that means that I have to find the model and stitch that together. And that I have lying here is the narrow piece, and then the piece number 5. And maybe we can see here in the top front there is a number there, stand number 5, and here's number 6. So this part is up on the panel, and that way that is to the front. So this is the back of the sail. But because everybody, all the pieces of fabric is numbered like this, then I can find it, and then I just have to find those panels that I used for the model. But they are 2 inches shorter, so I just have to roll it out on the work table here, and then I easily find it. And I probably also have some of the marker on the one that I was doing as using for the model. In the end, I'm gonna end up with two panels that are a little shorter a little narrower, I guess it's the right name, than the other one, and I'm gonna put them at the top, so they're gonna be like panel 6 and 7, because they are the one that are gonna be exposed to the most wind, and because they're a little narrower, they are a little bit stronger, close to nothing, but I think it's a better place to put them, and it's also the one that I'm doing at first. That way I hope it look a little better when I'm stitching on the one ending at the bottom, so that when the sails is up and somebody comes and look and they say, wow, it's look beautiful, and then yeah, it's look very beautiful, but they cannot see what's on the top, where it's not as that beautiful. But the most important part is that it's gonna work. And I made a test where I was taking 2 cutouts, and I believe over 1 feet I was stitching it together, and then another guy and I was like rope pulling with this piece, and we could not take it apart. You could not even see that we had been standing each side of it and trying to rip it apart. So I'm pretty sure it's gonna last. Okay, I'm gonna do some stitching, and yeah, it's gonna look like the same. I'm gonna have like 2 kilometers of stitching to do, so I'm sure that we don't need to film it right now.